Okay, I wanted to get on, so that's why you heard me singing in the background. Sorry. Nancy.
Hi, good morning.
Hi, can you see me?
How are now I can, yes.
Yeah, you know, you could be a lot closer to the camera.
Okay, I'll scoot this chair forward,
Yeah, like
or Dori will.
We're going to bring the camera to you, not to worry. You
Oh,
stay
okay.
there.
Hi, Dori.
Hi. So,
All right, we're just getting settled here. We're live, but we're just getting settled here for all of those of you watching. And
Is that better, or do you want it closer?
well, do we need the piano in the shot?
there's a rumor, according to Nancy, there's a guitar player producer going to join her at one point.
So therefore the chair, I see.
Yeah.
Okay,
For the piano, it's for the chair.
I see. Yeah, that's pretty good. It could be
And-
closer,
little
but I
closer.
think that's okay.
And Maita's artwork is in the background, so we're all good. All protected.
That's right. That piece of artwork is by Maita Dinos, whose album Dori and I produced.
I
And,
heard.
yeah, it was a beautiful project, and her artwork is really good.
Mhm.
You know.
Yeah, I love that piece.
Yeah. So this is my guest, Nancy Smith. She is a very talented composer, and we're gonna have a nice chat and talk all about your stuff. I'm looking to see. Dori had sent me some other information, and I was looking to see if I got it. So
Okay.
let me just look at that. How are you, Nance?
I'm great. It's good to be in LA. I just drove down from the Bay Area
Yeah.
day before last.
Uh-huh.
I've been watching your wonderful trip in Paris.
Yeah.
I was a little envious. I have 2 songs about Paris, so you know I must love it. It looked like you were having a great time.
Have you been to Paris?
Yes, I have.
Did you live there by any chance, or?
No, but I spent just a couple weeks there.
Yeah. Oh, a couple of weeks. Well, that's nice. In Paris or somewhere else?
Well, throughout Europe, like 4 months. Every
Oh,
year, 3 or 4 months. Well, three. I'm not supposed to say four because you're not supposed to be there for four.
wow. So you go to Europe every year like that?
I have been for the past maybe 5 years.
What made you do that?
Well, actually, I come from a family where we always did a lot of traveling together as a family.
Yeah.
But I was retired. Well, I was traveling during summer because I was a middle school counselor. So
Mm,
summer was the time to travel. But when I retired, it was really nice because I didn't have to be there exactly in summer
yeah.
where other tourists were there.
Yeah.
So, but I would leave in summer and come back maybe in September, October.
Uh-huh.
I just love the European lifestyle, basically.
I know what you mean.
Yeah,
I love it too.
I love it. And as a single woman traveling alone,
Yeah.
I feel very safe in
Uh,
Europe in a way that I don't in the United States.
yeah. What's one of your favorite places there?
Oh, Greece.
Ah,
Greece and any Barcelona and then anywhere in Greece.
Barcelona. Yeah, that's a Spain is an interesting place. It's to me it's kind of a real like throwback to another style of living, a different style of living. France is a I think well, France is France, but
Everybody smokes in Paris. That's what I remember. Oh
but
my
it's
God.
pretty charming, and it's kind of has a small town feel
Which one?
of Paris,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not a small town, but it
No,
feels.
not at all. But you can walk it
Oh
really
God,
easily.
yeah,
But Barcelona too.
yeah,
It's just a great walking city. They're both so charming in very different ways.
yeah. They really are.
And Paris has a jazz community, which is nice.
Yeah,
Barcelona too.
yeah,
Yeah, I love Europe.
yeah.
I wouldn't
Me
mind
too.
living there anytime soon.
Many times I think to myself, well, I kind of reflect on my life, and in a different choices, I would have gone to live there, but I didn't. I would have gone to live in New York too, but I didn't. And here I am. And obviously, the lessons that I had to learn this lifetime, you know, came from my choices, and here I am. And
I
I've
completely understand. Would you go now and live in Europe if you?
well, if I was single, but
Amen, and I am. And I'd like to be over there.
yeah, if I was single, I think I would go and live there. Although I have heard that people, and I don't think it's all over Europe, but I've heard that it's different when you live there and when you visit there. As far as same in Japan, as far as a perspective of you, you know, you're
Hmm.
living there and they have a perspective of you, or you're visiting. However, the thing that appeals to me about Europe, especially, but maybe Japan too, is that if I was living there, I'd be working all the time. I'd be doing festivals, and that's what I really miss.
Oh, okay. I have never been to Japan, by the way. It's on my bucket list.
You'd probably love Japan.
Well, I love the idea that it is so safe. You can leave your computer on the table or your phone, and I love where I live in Oakland. I
Uh-huh.
absolutely love Oakland and the diversity and the music and so on. But I don't have that sense of safety that I have in Europe and that I can imagine having in Japan.
Yeah, it's a very interesting community. It's very, very much like another planet. I always say that.
And
They're very,
a
they're
nice
like
planet.
us. Yeah, they're like us, but they're very different. It's a different, very different culture. It's come from a very different place.
Yes. Yeah,
But
exactly.
yeah, the people are lovely, especially like my favorite are the artists and the farmers. They're just so just beautiful people.
Have you spent a lot of time in Japan?
I have. I traveled there, I don't know, 30 to 40 times
Oh
over the
my
years.
goodness. What drew you to Japan?
Oh, like originally, I don't know if you remember these days, but originally, in the late 80s, singers like me were going over for 6 weeks at a time to the Playboy clubs.
Oh, to the Playboy clubs. No, I don't remember that.
Yes. So I went to Tokyo first, and then I went to Osaka, 6 weeks each place. And then after that, there was a few years that I didn't go. And then a friend of mine had a friend who was kind of connecting people and needed a singer and a piano player to go to Fukuyama. And so I did that. And then there I met a Japanese man who owned a music school and was a bit of a manager, kind of booker guy. He had an American pianist over there that he hooked us up, and then he put us on the road like 3 times a year for 10 years. And we made a few recordings with him. And then after that kind of changed, I just kept going back like once or twice a year after that. So, yeah, I saw most of the country, and it was just a great experience.
That's awesome. Who was the piano player?
His name is Philip Strange. He lives in Japan. He's
Ah.
originally from Arizona. Very good, kind of like a Keith Jarrett type of player.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nice. 30
Yeah.
times to Japan. I just got to get there once.
You're going to love it.
I got to get there. I know. It's crazy.
Yeah, you should just book it, and it's just so lovely, and it's just great.
The closest I've been to Shanghai and Bali. So my son was living in Shanghai for many years,
Oh,
and he had a club over there. A very
really?
hot, spicy club. Yes. He's
Wow.
in the music industry as well. So that was fun to visit him. And it was really fun because when I walked in, I had bodyguards in front and behind me. Darren's mom is coming. Darren's mom is coming. They treated me like the queen. It was so cute. And it was a hopping club, but then COVID happened, and
Ah,
he's in LA now. So
oh my gosh, that really crashed and burned for.
it definitely crashed and burned, but it's kind of nice for Mama to have him 5 hours away instead of a long flight away.
I've never been to Shanghai, and I have not
It's
been to
cool.
Bali, and I really would like to go to Bali, especially. I've heard such wonderful things about Bali.
The people in Bali could not be any kinder.
Yeah.
That said, I was quite sick. I've been sick all around the world. I've been in more hospitals around the world than I
Oh
can.
my God.
Yeah, it's crazy. It is crazy, but I'm not mad at any of it. It all turned out, and life is grand. But yes, I've seen the healthcare system in many countries. I have funny stories about that too. I
Oh my
do.
God. I'm just writing a note to Dori. Um, so, so, talking, I mean, we'll move on to your music stuff, but we can talk about anything. But that's why I like my show, because I can talk about anything I want.
You're the boss. I love it.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So, first of all, I'm really curious about your career because, when I first heard what you had done with Dori, this project, excuse me, I was so impressed. It's so beautiful. And then I realized you didn't have like a website presence, for this, or maybe you do, but I couldn't find it. And so it made me really curious. And I'm looking forward to coming to see you, right? You're going to be,
Oh, I'm so excited. November 30th at Vitello's. Yeah.
yep, I have
With
it.
some great musicians too, including, of course, Dori and
Yeah.
Josh Nelson, Gary Wicks, and Jamie Tate. No, I'm excited.
Oh man. Couldn't find anyone good, huh?
Right? Dori got me the schleps. Dori did a good job. And, you know, I know Josh Nelson from the Bay Area because he comes up and plays there a lot. And
Yeah.
I fell in love with his playing years ago.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so,
He was always good, even when he was younger, you know.
yeah.
And you're still young, Josh. I don't know if you're listening, but
If you're listening, Josh, it's
but
all
yeah, even
compliments.
when he was younger, he was wonderful then too. He's always been wonderful. He's
He's
very
amazing.
sensitive and
Yeah.
lovely, good taste.
I was
Um,
very fortunate to have him on this project along with Bill Contos, who was also
oh
wonderful.
yeah, he's great too.
Yeah, so Dori brought in Bill and I wanted Josh, and they both shared the project. It was awesome. Yeah.
So let me just start with who are you musically? Because I'm curious. What happened along the way? I know you're into travel, but that's all I know.
Well, you want the long story of how this all happened?
I would like the long story. We have a few hours, so.
Okay. Let's see. Well, I got reacquainted with music in the gospel choir. I think I mentioned that. I don't know if you know Terrence Kelly and the Oakland Interfaith Gospel Choir, but they are a phenomenon. So they
Ah,
have the gospel choir, which you can look up online, and Terrence Kelly, who is amazing.
uh-huh.
And then they started a community choir about, I guess, I don't know, 8 or 9 years ago.
Yeah.
And that's for people like me who love to sing, but wouldn't really call themselves, most of us, you know, singers.
Yeah.
We just are people who loves to sing.
Right.
And just to clarify that, for if anybody in the choir is listening, there are some great singers in the community choir,
All
but
right.
mostly we're just people who love to sing. So that was fun. And then I decided, because I was retired and I was in Oakland, that I would take piano lessons. And that's how this all started.
Ah,
So I have a dear friend who was also my piano teacher, Brian Dyer. He's a musician in the Bay Area.
mm-hmm.
He's in a lot of groups, and he's with Bobby McFerrin every Monday, and a lot of great folks. So Brian was my piano teacher, and I took for 5 years. And this is no slight on Brian, and I tell this story, and I promise that I won't give his name, and now everybody knows his name. So if Brian, if you're listening, I broke our promise. But in any case, he's a good piano teacher. He was not the problem. I was the problem. And that's because, you know, in my 60s, I can't be sloppy about practicing. Like, if I want to learn this, I really have to practice. So we're going back now 6 or 7 years ago. And I was very inconsistent with my practices. So what happened is that I would forget everything I'd learned. If I missed a day, I was back to kindergarten level. But what happened in that time is I was sitting at the piano, right, ostensibly to practice. But then I started to write stories. I had a piece of scratch paper by the piano, and I wrote a story, especially to a dear friend of mine who was going through a lot of stuff. And so I wrote him a story, and then I could hear a melody with that story. I didn't know I was songwriting at that point at all, but I just heard the story, and then I plucked out. And when I say a melody, I play like people who type with one finger, you know, that's how I play the piano. So I heard this melody, and it happened again and again. It happened 3 times. So I had 3 songs. I honestly didn't understand that these were really songs even.
Yeah.
It was just me sitting around, messing around. So Brian came the next week for our weekly lesson, and hoping that he wouldn't notice that I hadn't practiced, I said, "Hey, wait, before we practice, let me play a tune for you that I wrote this week." And I sung the lyrics, and I played. And when I say I played, it's like one finger here and an occasional chord, you know, because I don't play. And the strangest thing happened, Cathy, is that after I played my first tune, he said, you know, he looked at me with this odd look on his face, and he said, "Oh, that's really good." And I said, it is? Really? Are you serious? And he says, yeah, do you have any other ones? And I said, yeah, I do. I have a second one. So I did the second one. And he's looking befuddled and he's like, do you have any more? I said, yeah, I have one more. I have one more. So I played these 3 new tunes. And he said, to my great surprise, he said, we should record those. And I looked at him with the oddest face, because why would anybody record Nancy Smith's tunes? Like, how does that even make sense? He said, they're really good. Do you want me to put a band together? And do you want to sing or do you want a vocalist? And I was like, what is he talking about? But part of me was like, well, I'm not busy next week. This is honestly. And I've never been to a recording studio. Okay, that sounds like fun. And Nancy Smith will have 3 recorded tunes. Wow, that's really, what a kick. That's how this started. So he puts this band together, wonderful group of musicians from the Bay Area, and the wonderful singer Tammi Brown. I don't know if you know Tammi.
Yeah, I know her name.
She's phenomenal.
Yeah.
So he picked Tammi to sing my tunes, and off to the studio we went. And I cried crocodile tears when I heard my music with professional musicians. I was absolutely stupefied. This was really giving birth in a very emotional way. Like you create this child, but when it's there and it's born and it's all formed, it's like I had anything to do with that. And it was amazing. So that's the story of how this all got started. And then, to my own surprise, I kept writing, and these songs kept coming, and a lot of them from my travels, because as I was meeting people when I was traveling, I was writing songs about the people I met. So the traveling and the writing sort of came together, but I didn't really understand that. People were saying, you're a songwriter, and I said, no, I'm somebody who writes words and puts an occasional tune. I couldn't wrap my head around, and frankly, still now I'm a little bit shy about saying I'm a songwriter, because I don't have the credentials that these amazing musicians have. So I recognize that it's a collaboration of my thoughts and what I birthed, but it wouldn't be complete without the help of the Doris and Brians and all these fabulous musicians.
Yeah. Well, I just like to say, when you're a songwriter, just means that you're writing songs. And now, if you add the word professional songwriter, that might mean a little more experience or acknowledgement in the career world. But being a songwriter, you can be a songwriter. You are a songwriter.
Well, thank you. I guess I am.
That's a very unique story, actually. I mean, I have heard of people starting later in life on various things, but it's such a unique story, and it's inspiring, I'm sure, for people to hear.
Yeah, that's really true. My friends who have heard my music are like, oh my God, I could never do that. That's amazing. Your songs are beautiful. And what I say to that is, until the moment my heart cracked open or somebody else's heart was cracked open and I took that in, I couldn't have done this either.
Yeah.
So never say what you can accomplish, because if you'd asked me 7 years ago if I could write a tune, I'd say, no, I don't know how to write a tune. No, and I don't write poetry, so ask someone else. But when I was cracked wide open emotionally, it just came, and it keeps coming. These songs keep coming. So it is an interesting story in the sense that I don't have a music background.
Yeah. It's an interesting story, period. Can we could we hear a song from your record?
Absolutely. So Dory's in the other room and he's going to help. And Dori, should we start with something like It Is You and not Mar yet? Because I have a story about one of the singers that I'll share with you later, Cathy.
Okay.
So this song, It Is You, I'll just give a little background. This song was first recorded in Barcelona with Mar Villaseca, who I'll talk about a little bit later. But so she did the first verse in Spanish and then finished it in English. And we worked on that together, like I said, in Barcelona. And then here with Dori, we decided to start it in Portuguese.
Oh.
And Kana Shimanuki did the Portuguese version and then into English. So I actually have it twice, and the one on this CD is with Kana, and she did a beautiful job of starting it in Portuguese. So Dori, do you have it?
You're friends with all the right people.
I am definitely friends with all the right people.
Nora Paradiso says hi, by the way.
Oh, hi, Nora.
Just confirm that you're hearing the audio.
Yes, I can hear it.
A little bit louder for me, Dori.
It's a little loud.
Não me importa o lugar, não me importa o esperar, é você. Ao tocar tua mão, bate o meu coração, é você. Tua boca, teu cheiro, todo o meu desejo é você. O amor mais bonito que eu quero no mundo é você. It's no matter the time, it's no matter the place, it is you. Take my hand, 'twill be grand, off to new lovers' land, it is you. Every touch, every taste feels like our first embrace, it is you. You're the one I adore, who could ask for much more, it is you. It is you who came into my life when all seemed wrong and made it right. It is you who danced into my dreams and made them seem within my sight. It is you who walked me down the street with Latin beat, you touched my soul. And it is you who loved me as we changed our wondrous life from half to whole. Ba-ba-da-dee-da-da-da, dum-dee-da-dum-dee-ah. Yes, I scream and I shout, there is love all about, it is you. Yes, this tiger's been tamed, other love has been shamed, it is you. Neither distance nor time, both with rhythm and rhyme, it is you. You are mine, this I know, you are wind, place and show, it is you. It is you who came into my life when all seemed wrong and made it right. It is you who danced into my dreams and made them seem within my sight. It is you who walked me down the street with Latin beat, you touched my soul. And it is you who loved me as we changed our wondrous life from half to whole. É você, it is you.
Very beautiful. Wow. That's really nice. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Is this a tag? Oh.
No, there we go.
So did Dori do the arranging and stuff?
Yes, Dori did the arranging for that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think everything you're going to hear today, Dori arranged and produced. Yes.
Yeah. He's so good.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
The check is in the mail.
He's all right.
Yeah, he's all right.
He's all right. Yeah, we'll talk about my work with Dori a little later. I guess he's going to come join us. He'll have something to say too.
I brought a helmet.
Yeah, helmet. Well, this is my second CD.
Oh,
Yes, so the first one was recorded in the Bay Area, sung by Tammi and produced by Brian, who I mentioned both of them.
yeah.
And that was a wonderful but very different experience.
Really?
Very different experience.
How so?
For one thing, since I didn't know anything and had never even been in a studio, I didn't know how much input I could have.
Yeah.
So the musicians led everything and they did a beautiful job, but Tammi was great, but she didn't want to change anything because she didn't know if I could handle that. And at that point, I probably couldn't have because it was my baby and do it just this way.
Yeah.
So she did exactly how I had written it. But now I understand that the vocalist can do some things and add to it that I didn't understand then.
Yeah.
I just didn't understand how much input I should have because I didn't want to second guess a professional musician.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this time working with Dori, it was much more of a collaboration. I mean, he and I agreed on most things, but not everything. And that was kind of exciting. What does he think? Well, I don't think that. And so how do we fix this? And we worked very, very well together, but with lots of dialogue about where we were going with the song. Whereas in the first one, it was just, they did it and I appreciated it because I didn't know anything and I didn't have much input. It's like, I like it or I don't, but that was about it.
Yeah.
So much more input here on this project and much, much more time spent. If Dori got paid by the hour by me, he would be in the hole by a lot of money. I mean, we have spent more time. He has been so generous with his time with me. I don't know if he feels sorry for me or what, but he gives me a lot of free time.
Don't tell anyone.
Uh-huh.
Don't tell anyone.
Yeah, because everybody's going to want it. He was super generous with his time. So he really walked me through the process much more than the first time. And again, I'm super grateful for Brian and Tammi and everybody who worked on that first CD. But like anything, it's your first, so you're learning. So I'm learning. And this time I knew much more coming into it.
Yeah.
And it's a story about how I met Dori. Maybe Dori will tell that story a little bit later. But so yeah, the second CD I think is just richer in every way because I know more. It's like being any kind of an artist, right? When you first paint the canvas, you don't quite know what you're doing. And as the years go on, you hopefully learn more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
Where is the website? Where is your website?
I don't have one.
I know. So now you have to, I'm sorry, this is my thinking, but you have to, let me put that a different way. Maybe it's time. We don't know each other that well. I can't say you have to.
Right.
Maybe it's time to create even just a simple website. Even, it's funny because I've been doing like PR, things that need PR on people for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I've booked rooms and I've always put PR out. It's always amazing to me that a lot of people, a lot more experienced than you, have no website online. And you have to really dig around to find out information. It's not that when you have a website, all of a sudden you're famous, but it's some place where people can find you, where you can send people, contact information. So even just a free Wix website, one page is just, it's a place where you could put a little bio and list your records and your contact information, So I'm highly suggesting that comes soon because wow, listen to this music. It's really, it's not like it doesn't sound like crap. It sounds gorgeous, and it looks like you're going to continue doing it, and you know,
Well, first of all, I love the way you talk like a counselor. 'Cause,
yeah.
I'm a counselor. So I like how you reframed it. That was real good. I think Dory's learned to do that with me really well. Like he knows how to speak to me and not have me either burst out crying or wring his neck. So yeah, the counselor
Yeah.
approach is really good. I appreciate what you're saying. You know what's funny is I really just been on Facebook. I've had an Instagram account, but I never used it. So my kids, my grown, 30 something and just 42 children said, "Mom, don't go on Instagram." The reason being they knew they'd have to help me because I wouldn't know what the heck I was doing. So they were not saving me, they were saving their own souls. Well, okay. So finally, a couple weeks ago, I had an Instagram account, but I didn't use it. So finally, Mar, who we'll talk about in a little while, who's all of 24, said, "Don't touch it. I'll do your Instagram, and we'll post every day." And so, sure enough, she's been posting for me on Instagram. If you've been seeing it,
I haven't, but
oh well,
I don't hang out on Instagram, but I do
I
have,
don't either. But
I have a
it's
social media person too, like
yeah.
Mars for you right now.
Well, my Instagram, if you care, is Nancy Smith Music.
Okay.
And now there's 4 or 5 posts, all done by beautiful young Mar, who knows how to do it. And every time I go, "Oh, I'm going to make a post," she goes, "Don't touch it. I'll do everything." So she does it for me. So I hear what you say about a website, and I've heard that a time or two. I'll get on that with Mar's help.
I'm going on Instagram, Nancy Smith Music,
Mhm.
and I'm going to show people just for the heck of it. And so there is
Yeah. And
your,
there's some, Cathy, there's some great trailers that Dori did that are on there.
oh,
There's 2. So I don't know if you can play them and have them fill the screen, or if Dori, if you can play them from where you are.
is it this?
Of course
Let
I
me
can.
see. This right here? Oh, no.
No, that's just the announcement for the party.
I can play different trailers.
Okay.
Yeah, no problem. Whenever
So
you want.
Dori, what if we start with Teach Me, maybe? Okay, so this song, a little background on this song. And this is a story I'll tell at the show too.
Do you want the full song or do you want the trailer?
Let's start with the trailer and yeah.
Okay.
Dory, you're going to show the screen?
Yes.
But in a moment, I'm going to tell a little bit of the story.
Okay.
So there I was in the most beautiful place I've ever been to on earth, which is Santorini in Greece. And I was with this fellow who was so stressed and so unhappy and never smiled. And he was just having a real tough time of it. So we spent a week together, and I don't think I ever saw him smile. So as we were saying our goodbyes, I said to him, "Gosh, I feel so badly. You never smiled. You never smile." And he looked at me with the most, I don't know, it was a beautiful, thoughtful look. And he said, "Teach me how to smile." And I was like, okay, the bitchy side of my head was like, well, that ain't my job. But the the other side of me was like, and I don't remember, I'm going to tell the story again. I don't remember if I said out loud this or if I just thought it, but I think I said out loud, "Well, I can't teach you how to smile, but that will be the title of my next tune." So sure enough, I wrote that tune. I wrote the lyrics that day, and I was leaving Greece. I was flying to Denmark back home, and I had met this amazing, I love Soren Baun, Baun, Soren, Soren, from Denmark. I had met him through gospel music, but I knew he played this kind of music as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I stopped and said to Soren, when I got to Denmark, I said, any chance we can go to your studio? My flight leaves in like 7 hours, but could I just hear you try to play this, make a melody out of this song? I had no melody for it. This is the only song that was really, truly a collaboration. And Soren said, okay. So we ran to his studio and he came up with this melody in like 5 minutes. And I think it's one of the most beautiful songs that I have. And so Dori's going to do a trailer and we can do the whole song if you want later. But here's a trailer that Dori put together of a song called Teach Me How to Smile.
Okay. You're not hearing it, are you?
You getting there? Hold on. I hope so. Are we sharing?
Cathy, this is why I needed Dori. Can you imagine me at home trying to do this? No, you can't imagine because you don't even know how badly I do these things.
Well, it's difficult. I mean, Joe Goldberger is saying, what kind of a setup is Dori using to make the sound so good over this broadcast? But it's, it's his studio, Joe. So he has a good studio and he's a very experienced engineer.
Are you seeing just the screen?
Not yet.
Yes. I mean, nothing's happening, but I do see your screen.
It's a black screen, yeah.
A long note on some phrasing.
For me, it's all about the story I'm telling.
Teach me how to smile when sunshine always turns to rain. Teach me how to smile when days are filled with tears and pain. Teach me how to smile when his lips are next to yours and he's within your warm and sweet embrace.
So obviously it's just a snippet from the
Yeah.
song, but,
Yeah, that's a very short teaser. We could play the whole song if you're
Oh,
interested.
who's singing?
So that's
That's
Soren singing from
Oh.
Denmark. We
Wow.
recorded it here, and I
Great.
we had already recorded it in Denmark with obviously different, just with Soren on piano.
Yeah.
And I loved his interpretation, but we wanted to do something a little bit different. And we have some great vocalists here, but I could only hear his voice because I just love the resonance in his voice, and
Beautiful.
I just love everything he does. So we sent it, and he recorded it in Denmark and sent it back.
Beautiful. God, that's
Beautiful
really
voice.
gorgeous. Yeah.
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 Are you interested in hearing the whole song, or should we just?
If you'd like to, or yeah. I mean, do you want to play the whole song? It's fine with me.
Yeah,
Or we can continue talking. I know Dori wants to come out and play with you,
right.
or play for you, or you're not going to sing, right?
No, I don't think either of us are going to sing unless you really beg us to. You'd have to be on bended knees.
But Dori, are you coming out to play or to talk or what?
I'm, okay.
That is gorgeous. But I'm going to get the record anyway, so
Which, by the way,
Well,
I
that-
have.
Hi, Dori Amarilio, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh,
Oh,
Here's the new CD. I'm
Wow.
very excited about.
what a nice cover too.
Thank you. This cover is art done from a friend of mine, Sudhir, who lives in Atlanta, and he's a brilliant photographer. So I I went through literally thousands of orchids, and I kept coming back to this one, so I bought that from him. And then our beloved Dori
Oh,
and me
nice.
chit-chatting, arguing something. You know, we're doing something right here. And then that's the back.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm very excited about it.
Now, Dori, is that mic over there? Is that, can you be closer to that mic? Is that the mic you're using?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can.
Okay.
Um,
I'm cheating. I have a couple of microphones off
Oh.
camera, so you know.
what a cheater, man.
Yeah, I cheat often like that.
So, how did you guys meet?
Who wants to tell that story? You start, and then I'll add if I need.
Well, why didn't you start and then I'll tell the truth. You know?
Okay. Okay, here's what happened. COVID was kind of almost over, but still a little bit happening. And they had started back up at the Garden Cafe where all the LA folks go to do music. And I was going nuts in Oakland because my social life was, I was very isolated. So I called my dearest buddy, Craig Cochran. Do you know Craig?
Absolutely.
Okay, well, we met at jazz camp, which you've probably heard about through.
Well, I taught there actually.
Did you? You know Stacy?
I told you that.
Oh, you know Stacy?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Well, she's like my BFF.
She's been on this show too.
Oh, she has? I would have told her to watch. Oh, darn it. Anyway, so we met at jazz camp years ago, and I love Craig. So I was talking to Craig. I said, I'm going nuts. He said, come down. Or maybe I said, I want to come down. And he said, okay, come down. Anyway, I came down, and this is just over a year ago, I guess, is when we started this project. Right? Something like that, October.
Actually, exactly a year, because it showed up my Facebook memories, some pictures from this first session.
Oh, I did?
Like a few days ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
So came down to see Craig. Craig said, you'll get here in time for this garden cafe thing. I didn't know what that was. And maybe you can sing. And I thought, oh, that sounds fun. So I show up at the garden cafe and I'm chatting with Craig and listening to Dori. And there was a piano player that night. I don't recall who it was.
Oh, wow. Maybe
Dave?
either Dave Moscow or...
I think it was Dave Moscow.
Yeah, or Todd Hunter. Yeah.
It wasn't Todd. It was...
Dave.
So piano, and then they went on break. Dori came and sat with Craig and I. Do you want to pick it up from there?
Well, I want to hear your
Oh no,
side of the story.
mine's X-rated.
No.
You tell your
No,
son.
but, no, it's not that X-rated. But,
Not very X-rated.
yeah, anyway, it was funny. So yeah, I mean, I played every other week. We have the Carrie Kelsey's gig at the Garden Cafe, which is usually a duo. And that particular night, apparently, we had two.
Well, duo.
We had the duo, so I'm
Yeah.
not sure if it was one of her extra open mic-ish with some guests.
Yeah.
Maybe it wasn't even a Friday, so it was maybe it was a little different because there were like a few guests, and I saw Craig talking to that lady in the on the side, and then suddenly she came up and sang. So she brought an original. She put a chart in front of us, and it was kind of a cute, kind of a storytelling song. Was it da 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 da? Was it? Yeah, it was Just a Listen to. I think
It was.
I think so.
Oh, that
Yeah.
could be. That could be.
Because
I'll
I
give you a
remember
little
the-
snippet of it
Because
later.
I remember the lyrics being very playful.
Yes.
Just
Maybe it
like
was.
Annie, da, da, da. Yeah. So, and I said, "Oh, wow, that's a cute song," you know. And then during the break, I went to chat with Craig, and then we start talking, and right away you could tell that there's this chemistry, and we're kind of interested in the same things and stuff. And so Craig, being Craig, the initiator, he said, "Why don't we? Do you have some time? Can we meet at your studio and just? I want to go over some of the songs with Nancy." And then he brought jazz camp, and this whole jazz camp world there that Craig is always kind of promoting and stuff. So that came next day, I think.
Yeah, next day.
And they sat here at the piano, and Craig kind of playing for Nancy, and then they tried different things, and I think he asked me something or heard something with my big nose. I poked into.
Yeah, you came through the room. Yeah.
Yeah, I took him to the room, and so I grabbed the guitar and I played like an alternate chords over a song and stuff, and then I saw kind of Nancy's face perking up, and
This is
then
great.
I said, you know
Vickers.
what, play something else, and they played something else, and one thing I do have, that's one thing. I mean, I bow to everyone's skills and chops and all that stuff, musically and stuff like. But the one thing I do have, and that I got because I grew up with a songwriter in the house, I got a good radar,
Yeah,
good songs and good melodies.
yeah,
So I spot them from a mile. She said, that woman is a natural songwriter. I don't care if she can play the piano. It doesn't matter. I don't care if she's not considered herself a singer. It doesn't matter. What matters, and that kind of it kind of. Then I wore the hat that I'm used to, and just as a producer arranger, I said that material can be fleshed out in ways that, it's not. I'm a retired school counselor that enjoy writing song at home. This is material that, under the right circumstances, a lot of singers would love to record. That's the way I look at it. And should be out there for all the right reasons. So we all have that. I watched your face when we started playing the first song, and that smile on your face is what I wanted Nancy to see. And because that's the end result when you're done with the song, with the arrangement and the recording and the mix. That's the first reaction that you want from people. So
Yeah.
that was worth its price in gold.
yeah.
And there's about
That's pretty
50
true story.
50.
It's about 87%.
And then so the end of the beginning of the story is that at one point Craig is one of those, Dori record, Dori arrange, Dori produce, he can do that for me, he can do that for you. So she came to me and she said, I'm thinking about recording, I said, well, great, that's kind of mostly what I do. And then we talk, and the short version of the story is that I explained to her that for the same time and investment, and you can call it a demo for the family and friends, or you can produce something that you send to the Grammys. That's my approach. And so we went for door number 2. And she kind of, I can tell that she is warming up to the idea of it's not just me trying it again,
Yeah.
meaning that her second CD. And I collaborate her early story about the fact. It's interesting for me to hear it from your perspective. Your experience in round 1 versus experience round 2. Working together. And first of all, absolutely, it was a collaboration, and I always see that process as a collaboration, because for me, I think I will do a better job if I'll get you. So for me, it's important to listen to you and to get kind of where you're going with things. And I don't care what title you hold or what degree you have, but if I call them, there's the doctors and there's the hummers. She's a hummer, So if the melody that you hum to me or sing to me speaks to me, I'll take it from there, So I part of at the beginning was to put all her worries aside. The next stage was to suggest, how to go about things. So the first song that we just heard, was kind of
It is you.
It is you. It wasn't a real bossa nova in the beginning. And you know me, you throw a odd meter at me in 5 minutes, I'm going to turn it into the bossa nova. So, and as I was also, more specifically with this project, because the songs was kind of diverse, and I also made sure that are diverse. I kind of had the talent in mind as well. So I kind of, Nancy came with a wonderful, talented young girl from Barcelona, who just graduated Juilliard, and she is kind of a mix between, you can hear Ella and Lenny Andrej at the same time from her, which is probably can get better than that.
Yeah.
So she brought some songs already sang by Mar, and we decided what to keep Mar on the songs, and then I brought Kana, who sang in Portuguese and English. I brought Lynn Cardona, who's not going to be on the show because she's just gave birth, and then I brought Bill Cantos, that did a really good job on a tune that I turned into New Orleans funk.
Oh, cool.
And at the live performance,
Don't give away any
Sydney Jacobs is going to kill on it,
I am on there, and I was like, hey,
yeah.
cool.
Let's play it.
Yeah.
Let's play that song. There's a song that was actually brought to me a little more, almost like a cabaret settings. It started rubato and it went to a little bit of a songwriter, piano player tempo, and I heard it. Sing to me, just the way you heard it at the beginning, kind of like how you wrote it, and then I'll play it from the computer.
You want me to sing Fast Train?
Yeah.
I'd rather sing something else.
No. That's.
Was on a fast train to Paris, all worn out and so embarrassed about the way we had behaved just yesterday. Was on a fast train to Paris, not knowing who, what, when, or where is the next encounter at the famed Champs-Élysées.
Yeah. I can hear like a second line funky thing right away.
Wow, but that was a giveaway. She's used to the new version. Well, when I got the first one, let me see if I can find it.
The first one with Soren?
Yeah.
Do the first one. Okay.
Yeah, let's
This is
let's see if I can
interesting,
find
Cathy,
it.
because this is where Dori and I kind of butt heads in the beginning. And the reason being is because these songs had been recorded, and so I was very used to the way that they were, and I loved the way they were.
Mm-hmm.
And this song was sung by Soren, whose voice and piano playing I adore.
Yeah.
But Dori saw more in it, and he had a different vision, and I love them both.
Yeah.
So this is very cool for this CD because it's very different than the way a lot of the other tunes sound. So I think Dori, hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
But I also am very attached to this first recording as well, because, when you hear a song sung the first time, it kind of, that's what you're used to.
Yep.
And I love Soren's voice. So
yeah, he has a beautiful voice.
yeah. So you're going to hear him now. You're going to put Soren on first, Dori?
Dori, I have to ask you something for Joe Goldberger. He really would like to know the pathway that you're using to get from the sound source to make it sound so good, because he said he loves the sound on this broadcast.
I'm happy to send him, a private message with all my signal paths.
Okay, Joe, he said, I don't know if you heard that because it was soft, but he said he's happy to private message you. There you go. Yeah. We can't hear you very much, Dori, if you're speaking.
So how's that?
Yeah.
All right. Let me see if I can find the original real quick, and if not, I'll just.
All right. And yeah, by the way, Taylor, I'm not really going into big composition questions because Nancy is obviously a different kind of composer. She's not coming from a
Found it.
composer's, background really. She's coming just from herself. And so, because he's asking about composition books that you read or that kind of thing. So,
She doesn't, but she still writes good songs.
yeah.
I guess I write by intuition, honestly.
Yeah.
There's no formal training whatsoever. It's all emotion and intuition.
Right.
So here's the original.
That's Soren on piano as well.
Was on a fast train to Paris.
Can't really hear it very directly, Dori.
Okay, hold on a second. Let me make sure that I'm sharing. Computer. Oh, okay. Here we go. Now we'll be good. Here it is.
Can you hear it?
Yes.
Was on a fast train to Paris, all worn out and so embarrassed about the way we had behaved just yesterday. Was on a fast train to Paris, not knowing who, what, when, or where is. The next encounter at the famed Champs-Elysees. Was on a fast train to Paris. The river sang and song Michelle is a most romantic place for us grown-ups to play. But don't forget, my dear, it's true. A night together, me and you, brings up the question, what on earth did we just do? Was on a fast train to Paris, worn out and so embarrassed about the way we had behaved just yesterday. Was on a fast train to Paris, not knowing who, what, when, or where is. The next encounter at the famed Champs-Elysees.
Okay. So that's the first one.
Mm-hmm.
That was a swing, kind of goes into a swing. And then this is where the arranger comes in, right?
Mm-hmm. Dori, when you play it, can I still be seen on the screen and see Cathy? Thank you.
Wow.
Was on a fast train to Paris, all worn out and so embarrassed about the way we had behaved just yesterday. Was on a fast train to Paris, not knowing who, what, when, or where is. The next encounter at the famed Champs-Elysees. Was on a fast train to Paris. The river Seine and Saint Michel is a most romantic place for us grown-ups to play. But don't forget, my dear, it's true. A night together, me and you, brings up the question, what on earth did we just do? Was on a fast train to Paris, all worn out and so embarrassed about the way we had behaved just yesterday. Was on a fast train to Paris, not knowing who, what, when, or where is. The next encounter at the famed Champs-Elysees. Was on a fast train to Paris, all worn out and so embarrassed about the way we had behaved just yesterday. Was on that fast train to Paris, no better time to clear the air is, no better time for me to head the other way. Oh, was on a fast train to Paris, not knowing who, what, when, or where is the next encounter as I wipe my tears away. Now don't forget me as I run to have another day of fun. What can we do but laugh and throw our cares away? So don't forget me when I run to have another day of fun. So it's bonjour and au revoir in the same day.
Very nice. Very nice. I love it.
You like it?
Yeah. Getting good comments from the people listening as well.
Oh, great. Where are people that are listening? Where
Let's see. Well, Joyce Glasgow is in Seattle. Roland and Mark and Joe are in LA. Taylor is he might be in Texas right now. Nora, of course, is in LA. So yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
So it's sometimes it's and I have to kind of I would say both in general and also specific with you. For a songwriter, it is your baby, and you're very protective of it. I can
Mhm.
you know, it was very evident. And you and both you specifically and a lot of other songwriters, they're very particular about what they hear initially. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
With you, it was very interesting for me to see if I can bring you to to kind of to my world where things can be dressed and addressed in different ways. So I made suggestions, and I could tell how you struggle. It's interesting dynamics, you know, working with a songwriter, especially somebody very determined like you, and for all the right reasons, because you have your own ideas. I can see how you want to play a different game with me on one hand. On the other hand, you're very emotionally attached to your initial emotion that song both caused you to write it. I mean, it's the reason why you wrote it, but it's also how you attach to it emotionally. And even and you even mentioned that you went to the original songwriter on Teach Me How to Smile because that was the emotion that his voice evoked. But you were open to kind of hear it with a little more of a acoustic guitar, sting-like, you know, attire. So I could tell where you let go and where you need your, you know, your familiar, you know, place. And it was also, I think it was a good experience to also hear songs through different, the vehicle is different singers. So it's different instruments, different colors, all this stuff. And for the most part, I think sometimes it's really inspired. It's like, you know, you write something for flute and then you hear it sung by an orchestra. So, oh, wow, that's so different, you know, like to hear Kana singing the bossa nova as a bossa nova. And, so it was kind of interesting for me to see how you're starting to kind of allow yourself to accept a little more and more and more. And I think we ended up with something very, very colorful. That the one thing that is a common thread, and that's for the producer to ensure, the musical producer, that first of all the song being really addressed and supported musically. But what really speaks at the end of the day is the song. And a good song is a good song. That's what I always say. You know, it starts with the song choices. And that's true for every artist, you know. And
Yeah, well, Dori, I mean, in the work that you and I have done together, I would say that that's what I see you doing all the time, noticing your taste is really good in the songs themselves, and also you have this broad sense of point of view of what can work. Plus, you know people, you have like a congregation of people to pick from who you really know who's going to do it. And I remember one project I brought in, I thought, this is a great player, Nancy, right? This is a great player. He's going to be great. And it turned out really weird. And Dori said to me, you know what? Some people don't play well in the studio. And that was a first for me. I hadn't realized that. So that was a real education. And that's what Dori has as well. Plus he's a great musician. I mean, yeah, Dori, you have so much going for you, you know. You have a huge point of view. Huge.
thank you.
umbrella.
I feel lucky that I can get to do something that I'm connected to with the congregation that I feel very lucky to develop, you know, and then bring people that bring their you know their creations like Nancy into that
Yeah.
and benefit from that community and I remember certain warriors. Well, when we recorded it, you know, a few years ago, it was a problem. We couldn't get the drums out of the track, and I hate drums. That they didn't really ruin the song for me and all that stuff. So I could tell that that was the first, you know, attempt to record music, and the sensitivity of what that song needs and the technical way to achieve it together was not there.
You know, we
So
haven't,
that's
well,
yeah.
yeah, because we haven't talked about the emotional aspect of these songs. Most of these songs were experiences that I had. Some of these songs come from my imagination, that's true. But most of these songs come from love affairs, lust affairs, broken heart, expanding heart, whatever it is. And so, of course, I'm very attached to these because I'm telling my story most of the time. So it's like, it's my story to tell. So, you know, Dori had to really work with that because there was certain things that I just was never comfortable with because it was my story and it wasn't representing my story in the way that I wanted. So
Yeah.
even though people liked the recording, I didn't like it.
Yeah.
Because it didn't express what I was trying to express. So even though, say, maybe musically it was good and people liked it, I couldn't live with it. So we had some of those moments, you know, and
I understand that, being
Yeah.
a songwriter myself and, you know, performing my songs. Recording my songs wasn't too much of a problem for me, but performing them, there's a lot of this songwriter thing inside, you know, even wanting to sing the song, the real melody to show people, but also as a singer, wanting to loosen up and, you know, play with it, you know. There's so many different aspects of being a songwriter and then producing what you're producing.
right. And
I want to suggest a point of view in that regard, because I think it's important and it's true. When you create something, and that's my take on it. There's a part where you create it because you create it for yourself, by yourself, and it's your own expression of your experience.
Yeah.
And there's something kind of that points towards you. When you choose to share it, and you can share it with one person, and you can share it with a group of people live, and you can share it with the world via recording and training. That's a difference between giving the gift to yourself, that's door number one,
Mm-hmm.
and sharing that gift with other people. Now, once you share it with other people, they have their own experience, hopefully, if it's actually emotionally connecting,
Right.
between the poetry aspect of it and the musicality, So you kind of give them something that growing up around music and around music that works, between growing up around a songwriter in a house and also growing up with certain, anywhere from Bach to Beatles to Stevie to Brazilian music to kind of, I think I got a good sense of what could, I'm using the term loosely, sell the song emotionally to the next set of ears, to the next listener. And sometimes
That's where we did this a few times.
well, but I
That's
know
exactly right.
because I deliberately use the word sell, because that's where I say sell, I can hear her mind doing this. Nobody's going to sell my emotions. My emotions are mine alone, and nobody is going to change that. That versus, sing Is It You to me the way you wrote it.
Well, give me a little guitar.
No, you sing
No,
it.
that's not fair. I'm not a singer.
So whatever.
It's no matter the time.
Yeah.
It's no matter.
No. You sing it the way you heard it.
No, you can't play for me. I'm not embarrassing myself in front of the world. Just give me a little
That's
background.
songwriters working with songwriters.
It's no matter the time. It's no matter the place. It is you. Take my hand, 'twill be grand. Off to new lovers' land. It is you.
Did I mention she also changes the melodies? Meanwhile, kind of play with things. It's coming from talent, by the way. Not true. So.
Is that it? My debut is over?
Well, that's part one.
I finally wasn't shy to sing, and now I get three lines. The hell is that about?
The reason why I stopped. I heard that, and right away in my mind, I heard.
I heard that, but I know how it ended up. But yeah, because of the space.
It's no matter the time, it's no matter the place, it is you. Take my hand, 'twill be grand, off to new lovers' land, it is you.
So you see, you yourself starting tapping a rhythm in it, and it's not only because you're already familiar with the recorded material. It's because there's a component that you didn't think about, but I think it moved the song, it moved your work very well, and it makes it more accessible. And I say that a song works for me if I want to put it on when I cook, or it makes you want to dance. That's two good indicators. So you started doing that as you were singing, and it was your own melody, your own lyrics, without taking anything away from the emotional and the quality of what you wrote.
I couldn't agree more on that song.
So did you hear that? And she's also
I heard that.
You can see we had a lot of fun.
Lawyer on that song.
I heard.
We had a lot of fun and a few arguments and many tears.
Yeah.
When he got it right, not right to the, but right to my heart, then there were tears. Then I knew that's what I want. That's it, Dori. That's it right there.
And by the way, that's my main goal, or at least the first part of that, because I want to. It needs to be about the song, and I want you to love it, of course, because you're my first person that I want you to be happy with. And then, I think I did an okay job in opening your mind to possibilities, and the fact that it will actually bring more people in your court and enjoy your creation. That's by giving interesting attires.
And you did.
I thank you. It was fun, and for me, and I'm not just saying it for the sake of the compliment. It's easier and of course more fun and more effective when arrangers work is working on good song, good melodies. The material is there to. You don't have to work hard to kind of get the essence of what it is, and then you keep it always about the song. It's not about the arranger and what I can do. Look what I can do versus
Right.
that really served the melody.
Yeah. Well, that's what you're about. Nancy, being a singer for a long time, there's this song, all songs can be tried different ways too. And you wouldn't really know that because that wasn't your whole career before, but that makes it a little easier to deal with a change as well, because you realize that there are songs that just work. They work equally as good, because I actually liked your just ballad approach to it too, but also the bossa nova is very inviting and beautiful, and the recording
That's
was
why I
really.
brought a ballad.
Do a ballad?
What would you like to hear?
What are our choices? Let's see. Just a sensitive?
That's not a ballad. That's cutie, playful stuff. Something from Mar, maybe.
Okay, well, let's talk about Mar before we play Mar.
Okay.
So I told you I traveled and I loved Barcelona, and I was in Barcelona 6 years ago. And I went to an open mic, and this young 19-year-old Mar Vilaseca sang. And when she came off the stage, I was mesmerized. So she came off, and I ran over and introduced myself. And I said, I'm a songwriter, and would you ever consider singing my tunes?
I'm gonna go to the computer.
I'll go in. Okay. So she said, sure, of course. She's this young, adorable thing. Well, yeah, why not? So I said, well, I'm leaving Barcelona tomorrow, but I'll be back hopefully next year, maybe. And if I come back, we exchange information and we would sing. Yes, of course. So that happened. I went back the next year, and she put a band together with her father, who is a wonderful jazz piano player. So she grew up with this music. And so we recorded some of the songs that you'll hear today. And I mean, she's phenomenal. She is all people don't know this. She is a phenomenal piano player. She's unbelievable, gospel, jazz, anything. She is a wonderful singer, and she's a fantastic guitar player. So she's the whole package. She just graduated from Juilliard at age 24, so just in May. And she just got back from Colombia, where she sang, and she'll be singing in Barcelona in a couple months. And she sings all over. She's got a nice following, and she's still young. So she sang my tunes, and then I sent her, when Dori and I decided to work on this project, I said, well, I have to have Mar, because she is my absolute favorite, and she's in New York. And so I sent for Mar, and Mar recorded several of the tunes, and then the other folks that you've heard. So you want to do Sentimental, Dori? So the backstory on this song, before you put it on, it's called Can't You Be Sentimental Too? The story of this is that I was in Cuba with a wonderful family that hosted me and a friend of mine.
Oh.
And it was time for us to say our goodbyes. And I had had just a breathtaking, beautiful time in Havana and felt so welcome and didn't really want to leave. And so as I was saying goodbye, and they didn't speak English very well, the family I stayed with, I said to them, I felt, Cathy, that this was one of those moments that you just know in your life will never be replicated like this. Of course, no moment is replicated, but I think you understand what I'm saying. These people at this moment in time and with these emotions. And so I started to sing to them, for all we know, we may never meet again. You know that song. Sure. Before we go. And as I sang it, I got a tear out of my eye. I was so sad. And my friend said to them in Spanish, he said, she's very sentimental. And I took it as a put down, actually. I thought he was like, oh, she's very sentimental. And it wasn't until I thought about it later that actually he was describing a very sweet part of what he thought, who he thinks I am. But at that time, then I went into the bedroom before we left and I wrote this song, Can't You Be Sentimental Too? So that's the background for this story.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, you have a Dori?
Yeah. I'm going to talk about arranging and the art of what not to do.
Okay.
When I heard it, and I actually heard Mar singing it,
Mm-hmm.
and it was beautiful. And you asked me a very good question. You said, why should I record again?
Mm-hmm.
And my answer had two parts. The first part is that you don't have to. You know? The second one is that just from, cashing on the opportunity of having a rhythm section that I chose for the rest of the project, and have Mar re-record something a little more mature. And then I heard the song, and can you sing the line from the song?
You always say I'm sentimental. You gonna guitar me? Can't you be sentimental too? These tears you see are not for strangers. These tears I cry are just for you.
Mm-hmm. So we sat here and we met with, Mar was with us and stuff. And I think it was the day before the recording. We finalized some things. And I realized that I need to preserve her take on it. I didn't find any need to change the pace and the tempo.
Mm-hmm.
And then I thought I knew him. I called Bill Cantos, Rene Camacho on bass, and Jamie was here. Actually came at the last minute sub and did a wonderful job. And I said, I know exactly what that song needs, because that song is kind of a full statement. It's not an AAB or ABA. Mm-hmm. It's almost like a one big beautiful sentence, and it repeats later. So I said, all that song need is a modulation, half step, before you go into the solo. And Mar loved the idea. I said, yeah, and stuff. So that's what we did. So that's what we're gonna hear.
Okay, and if you can make the screen so I can see Cathy, that's always fun. Yeah. Cathy, thank you for the opportunity to talk about this. I've never done anything like this, and it's really kind of fun.
It is nice, isn't it?
You always say I'm sentimental. Can't you be sentimental too? These tears you see are not for strangers. These tears I cry are just for you. You always say no more than friends, dear. That's all we are, that's all you see. But darling, can't you be? Can't you be sentimental over me? You always take my hand each sunrise and hold on still till day is done, wrapping your arms around me tightly, holding me close as though we're one. And yet you say no more than friends, dear. That's all we are, that's all you see. But darling, can't you be? Can't you be sentimental over me? This is our last goodbye, love. Oh, then kiss me once so tenderly, dancing the night away with our love, tasting as sweet as love can be. And still you say no more than friends, dear. That's all we are, that's all you see. I ask you there this time, try being sentimental over me.
Nice song.
Thank you.
Really nice song. Yeah, I really like the way you write. I like how you bring back the the chorus. You know, it's very good how you write. It
Thank
really
you.
solidifies the song. Hey, Banouche, my darling. Um, yeah, I just actually part of why I was in France was the first week I was there. I was in this creative workshop, and a lot of it was about songwriting. And the teacher, Vinks, who's a great artist, was just such a good teacher, leading us to, I don't know how to put it, to observe things and imagine a backstory, you know. And so we had all different kinds of exercises. There was about 13 of us, and this girl Banouche, who just showed up, one of a lovely, wonderful person. And so yeah, it was good. As a matter of fact, it opened me up so much that when I went to Paris, I really felt like I was looking through different eyes. And I just got back a few days ago, but like last night, I got up at 4:30 because I was kind of, you know how sometimes you're not really dreaming, but there's this story going on in your head. And I realized that I had seen the story before, like whenever, whether it was the night before or whenever. And I thought, I have to get up and actually write this down. So I got up and I I had low lights in the kitchen going on, and I just wrote. I didn't think, I didn't, analyze myself or pre-edit or anything. I just kind of stream of writing. And I thought if it becomes a song, it'll become a song. Otherwise, whatever, it'll be a short story or whatever. And I sat there for a half hour doing that. This whole story, it was just so cool. So I have definitely opened up on writing again, which is really nice because I felt a little closed in the last year for writing. I don't know, sometimes you just go through like too much analyzation, really,
It's a funny thing you say that. I went to San Miguel de Allende, and I was with two painters, and they told me to paint, and I paint like a kindergartner, if that. And the whole lesson for me in San Miguel was to paint without judgment. It's like, how do you do that? I work in a middle school, and everything is about judging these kids, right? Everything.
Yeah.
And so I started to paint, and these nice paintings came out of me. And I was like, I didn't know where that came from, but they kept saying, and then I would say, oh, that looks terrible. And they say, then just go over it. The more paint you slop on, the better. And the one thing that we're going to teach you is don't be in judgment. And again, I was like, I just don't even know how to do that. With songwriting, I didn't really have any judgment to make because I wasn't trying to be a songwriter.
Yeah.
So I was more kind of shocked and pleasantly surprised when something came out that was kind of nice. I think what hinders me the most and what actually sometimes helps me the most are kind of in contradiction. And that being said, because I don't play the piano or play any instrument, I can't sit down and find these beautiful chords and sort of figure out what this song is going to be about. That's the hindrance. But the benefit of that is I don't have a clue what's going to happen. So I literally just press these notes and then, I like that with that. But I have no preconceived notion because I don't know what anything's going to sound like. So I think that's been kind of a blessing and a curse.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's your ace in the hole. Totally.
Yeah.
It's really what, totally. I think.
And because at jazz
it's a blessing.
camp, somebody wanted me to take a songwriting lesson. And I said, I'm not going to do it because I'm operating on a different level. I don't mean higher level. I mean, something's working without the education.
Yeah.
And I don't want to teach that out of me. Like I've seen so many children in school who have this creative thing, but the red marks on the paper and they lose their creativity. They lose themselves in trying to get that A.
Yeah.
So for me, it was like, I don't want to take a songwriting class. I don't want to know what I don't know. I just want to do what I'm doing. And people seem to be very receptive to it. And honestly, the greatest gift that Brian gave me was that amazing musicians wanted to play my tunes. And I was absolutely shocked because that's their reputation. And they've spent their whole life doing this. And it's like, they want to play my tunes. There must be something here.
Yeah.
And then same here, working with Dori and this level of professionalism, and their name is on my album. So something's working, and I don't want to unlearn it by actually learning something. It's better not to know anything.
Well, my friend Banush, that's who I was just talking about. She's Iranian, but she's lived in the UK for 10 years. And so she said, oh, wow, Nancy, that sounds just like me. I love your songs. Big inspiration for me.
Oh, thank you.
So, yeah, she was always, she hasn't been doing it for that long, but she has really gotten into it. She's been using Audacity, and which is, I don't know if you know about that program. It's Audacity, right, Banush, or some, maybe that's not the right one that she's using. Anyway, it's a program that you can really, you make a little, 17 years? Oh, I thought it was 10 years. Ableton. So she's, you can make a lick and then set it into motion going over and over again. So then you set up something that you like, and you just develop from there. So yeah. So, but she came up with some great stuff, and I know she can relate to a lot of what you're saying from what she had told me about herself.
You know, I want to kind of comment on, I think your children analogy is beautiful, and it's something that it's nice to be reminded of. And it kind of, I'm sort of reiterating what I said in the beginning, that you bring an unassuming children quality to your songwriting, because you playing, you're finding things, you're exploring. And you pointed out that the system kind of trains you to find under certain conditions, you know? And you didn't want to put conditions on yourself when it comes to your music, because you want to emotionally connect with yourself, you know, first, and then later with the audience. So, and it's interesting, and the painting, that's great discovery. And I think when we write and when we arrange and when we create, we paint, you know. And Cathy is this big, she's an educator and has a lot of followers, and had a lot of bring a lot to the table in form of education and approaching people and teach them how to be better at different things that they choose to do in the musical world. And I made a few stints in teaching as well, and sometimes we collaborate on things. And I think, Cathy, you would agree with me that there's a I find that part of my role as an arranger and a producer is to preserve that childlike instinct that led you to create that music. And I think when we creative musicians, especially in jazz, which is kind of like, you know, composition in real time, you know, it's we strive to find that inner child, that we really play what we hear and hear what we play, kind of. And that's kind of something that when you train, you get to that point. Well, not necessarily. Here's somebody that didn't train and got to that point and started with. So I think that essence of creating melodies, and it can come from an instinct, and it can come from training with an instinct, you know, and it's not a good or bad. So one of the things that I felt good about is reassuring you that what you bring to the table is musically valid, artistically valid.
Yeah, that was hard for me to wrap my head around.
And
I didn't feel worthy.
Yeah. And also I try to kind of put a little business attire on the statement. I said, whatever lives this door need to be able to be submitted to the Grammys. How's that for you? You know, so it's different side of the equation.
Well, you know, the truth is why it took so long to get you my bio is because I didn't feel I had anything to say. So Mara and I were writing it the other day, and I said, oh my God, I've seen Cathy's bios on Cathy's page, and they're, you know, like a page long. I said, I'm going to say, hi, I'm Nancy. I just learned to write. Thanks. You know, it was going to be 2 sentences. And I was like, what am I going to say? I have everybody's got this music credentials. And I was like, oh shit, I can't.
Well, looking at what you're wrong. You have a lot to say.
I have a lot to say, no, but I mean, to be on my bio, like I have nothing to say. As you were talking about your songwriting, and one very profound experience on my first CD was, the name of my CD is My Serenades, sung by Tammi. And I wrote this love song called My Serenade. And it was a love song to a lover. I don't think you've ever heard this song. I'm sure you haven't. And as soon as I put the pen down and completed that song, it was one of the strangest channeling moments I've ever had. And a lot of these things are channeled through me because some of the expressions in my songs are expressions I don't say, this is kind of, might sound a little new agey, but it's just like something coming through me if I just get out of the way. So I did my Serenades, the ballad, the love song. I put the pen down. I remember exactly where I was sitting in my house, and the pen came back up and the song wrote itself, and it's a gospel, my Serenades. And and I hope this doesn't offend anybody, I'm not a very religious person, but this song came through very spiritual. And it was sung by Tammi in a church in Gap, France. And I said, well, if Tammy's going to sing my tune in this kind of a setting, so she sang the gospel one.
Yeah.
And John Weinglass, who's a brilliant symphony writer, played the tune and couldn't wait to meet the person who wrote this gospel tune. And then I walked in, he was like, I didn't expect to see you. So it was pretty funny. But the song just wrote itself. That second song just wrote itself. And some of these songs sort of do. Yes. But to me, when I look back on them, what's fascinating is when there's expressions in the song that I don't use or don't even really know what they mean. And that was Angel's Wings on High. It's not in that song, it's in something else. And I was like, Angel's Wings on High. And I put it in the song, but it's a religious reference, but it's not in my conscious mind even understanding. So that's happened quite a few times. It's been interesting. That's
the muse.
Yeah.
Right?
The muse is lighting on you and coming through.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you like to hear another Mar song, or you want to do Tender?
Sure.
Here's another song that Mar wrote. I met a wonderful person on a vacation in Utah, and we just had this really sweet connection, and that was it. But something about that meeting created this fantasy tune. All fantasy, I might add, unfortunately. Some of these songs I wish were a little more real than they are. And this is Marby La Seca singing.
Tender is the night, holding me so tight. You say you love me. Warm the morning breeze, gently swaying leaves. You say you want me. Dewdrops on the ground whisper their sweet sound. You say you need me. You say you need me. Oh, always and a day. Nothing more to say, I'm yours completely. Take me in your arms, fill me with your charms. You say you love me. Sing a Gershwin tune and fly me to the moon. You say you want me. Tango on the floor, romance evermore. You say you need me. You say you need me, oh, hold me, oh, so tight. Whisper dear goodnight, I'm yours completely. Da-doo-da-doom, da-doom-da-day-day, sha-doom-da-doom-day, da-da-da-dum-da-doo-ba-dum-da-doo-doo, sha-da-da-day, boom-da-doo-da-doo-da-doo-da-doo-doo, shoo-da-da-da-day-da-dum-da-da-day. Shum do ba bo ba bwe da 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 da. Sha da 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 da. Boom 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 be be bo de da da. love me. Sing a girl swing tune and fly me to the moon. You say you want me. Tango on the floor, romance evermore. You say you need me. You say you need me. Oh, hold me oh so tight. Whisper dear goodnight. I'm yours completely. I am yours. I am yours.
Lovely. Wow, that's a really beautiful one.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that tune.
Yeah, that's really nice. Yeah.
Yeah, so so Mara and I are working collaboratively on a new project. Well, she has many of her own projects going on. In fact, she's going to be singing with Dori on Sunday at Urban Press, and she'll be doing mostly Brazilian, and so she's very multi-talented. But I have the good fortune of working with her on many songs. We have about 8 or 9 songs that we're working on together. She usually does the melody and I usually do the lyrics, but it all mixes up. And so we're going to do some more work on that project. And
I heard one. It's beautiful.
oh my God,
Beautiful.
Speaking of Paris, going back an hour and a half, speaking of Paris, I was in Paris not long ago. And, everybody's out at the cafes early in the morning, smoking and drinking. And it just kept going through my mind, this sort of the Paris scene. It's so different. We don't have anything like that here.
Yeah.
And so these lyrics just came to me. I have to think of what they are now. I can think of the second verse. I can't think of the first verse. In a restaurant on the street, watching lovers as they meet, holding hands and singing Sweet Au revoir, and so on and so forth. I love the lyrics.
Yeah.
So I played them. Then I went to Barcelona and I played them for Mar, and I had a tune in mind, and then she added, she did her thing. So that's going to be coming out one of these days.
Yeah, these two work very well together.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have a whole connection that to me is amazing,
We have, we have almost a 50-year age gap.
Yeah.
And without a doubt, we are best friends.
Oh.
Talk every day, laugh every day,
okay.
share everything every day. We are so close. And that's a miracle.
I'm also very grateful to Nancy to introduce me to Mar.
Yeah.
And when I heard Mar singing and learned that she's from Barcelona, I already had in the process one of the 3 orchestral projects I recorded in Nashville.
Yeah.
One that Dan was involved in.
Yeah.
The tribute to Chick Corea. She wrote Spanish lyrics to that. She's going to sing it and scat on it. And it's Concerto de Aranjuez combined with Spain.
Yeah.
So we're going to have the Spanish version by Mar Villaseca.
Are you going to be coming to Urban Press?
Dots.
Yeah.
I'm not. Is it this Sunday?
This Sunday.
Yeah. Because if you want to hear her in a whole different way than you've heard her.
Oh, you know what? I have a little segment for the Gardenia. Do you want me to play it?
Yes.
Okay. That was done Tuesday.
This is Mar. Yeah, last Tuesday.
I don't know if I'll get to the Urban Press. I have I have 2 students in the middle of the afternoon.
Oh, okay.
Try and get there.
Okay, well, here's what you would hear if you were at the Urban Press, and this is at the Gardenia the other night. But she's such a talented.
Or she just is here for a minute.
She's here with me. We came down from San Francisco together. She's staying through the show, and then she'll go back to the San Francisco. She's got some things to record there.
I see.
And then she'll head back to Barcelona for Christmas.
Vai minha tristeza é de Aplausos e abraços e beijinhos e carinhos eu teu filho. Que é pra acabar com esse negócio de você viver sem mim. Que pra acabar com esse negócio de você viver sem mim, vou já deixar esse negócio de você viver sem mim. Que pra acabar com esse negócio de você viver sem mim.
Oh, that was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, very
She's
good
wa-
singer,
she's-
very joyful.
Yeah.
Yeah, very nice.
Well, this is super fun. I didn't know I had 2 hours of anything to talk about.
Yeah, well, you know, it happens. Dori, can you unshare your screen? Thank you. Yeah, actually, oh, so it's been 2 hours.
Well, I really thank you for this opportunity. It's super fun. I had no idea. I said to Dori, I have nothing to talk about for 2 hours. Are you kidding? He said, don't worry. Cathy's a great interviewer. You'll be fine. And this has been fun. It's so informal and fun and fine. It's been great. And thanks to Dori for his studio. And
Well, Cathy, that's Cathy's second home.
It is.
trying to get it to be my second home and have him build me a little cottage in the back. But so far, I've been very unsuccessful.
Well, she always asks me, "Do you miss me?" I said, "How can I miss you if you don't go away?"
That's my line. He stole my line.
I stole that line. That's a good line.
My ex used to say that. Oh, honey, did you miss me? He says, how can I miss you when you don't go away? So now I say that to Dori, and so far he hasn't missed
funny.
me. Have you missed me, Dori? Do you miss me when I'm gone?
Of course, yeah.
All right, so on this end note, so we are Dori, is this Sunday? It's your Sunday at Urban Press, and you've been.
Yeah, it's just that Linda is the one
Yeah.
looking at, and I have last time I've been there. It was, I don't know, a year ago, or 7
Was
months ago, and it was a long time ago. So I got my favorite cats.
Yeah.
The guy I went to music school with, Hussein Jeffrey on bass, and Tiki, Tiki Pasillas on drums. We're the class of '89, and what's his name? Sandro Rebel, the Brazilian fiddle player.
Yeah.
And Mari's going to be my guest, and we'll do anything from standards to Tanya Maria, Brazilian funk, to
Cool.
all the good
Very
stuff.
nice. So that,
Yeah.
for those of you listening, yeah, that was Bill Contos. Carrie Kelsey, I sent you an email and you didn't respond. I'm inviting you on my show. Oh, and Adam Cohen on bass, which we didn't see the Adam Cohen on bass at the Gardenia, on the Gardenia one. So Sunday will be at the Urban Press in Burbank, and that's 2 to 5. And then the CD release party will be at Feinstein's, which apparently is still having music, right?
Yep. To the end of December.
Oh, to the end of December.
Yeah.
So, but anyway,
the CD
you're-
release is on the 30th.
Of
Wednesday?
November.
November 30th at Feinstein's in Vitello's. And that's the evening, and buy your tickets ahead.
There's
And
also
the-
live stream tickets for those
Yeah.
people who can't come. I think it's $15 for a live stream ticket. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's
And all if you go on my Facebook,
Mhm.
I don't know how easy it is to find my Facebook, but maybe my Instagram, Nancy Smith Music.
yeah.
There's some attachments for Vitello's, but if you want to find me on Facebook, I think you go to Nancy Smith and then put in Oakland, Oakland, and then because there's so many Nancy Smiths, but I think you'll find me that way, or look for a friend of Dori's on maybe that way.
We'll leave a few trailers with some Eventbrite links.
Yeah.
For tickets and
Okay.
stuff.
All right.
The band is going to be a bunch of slouches. You know.
I heard who the
Yeah.
band is. It's
we
Jamie
got
Taylor.
Josh to play, Josh Nelson on piano, Gary Ricks on bass,
Yep.
Jamie
Jamie
Tate, who played on half of the recordings,
Yep.
drums,
And you.
and myself, and a woodwind player that will replace Alex Budman, that plays so beautifully on Teach Me How to Fly.
Smile.
That's
Teach Me How to Fly.
how to smile.
And Sydney Jacobs is
wonderful
coming.
vocal talents,
Just
including
Sydney.
Mark Villaseca
Oh, Mar and Sydney.
and Sydney and Kana,
Oh.
who sang the
Okay.
and we might have a surprise guest, but that's to be seen.
Okay, good.
And to the beautiful lady in London, I wish you well on your writing. I don't recall your name, but good luck to you in your writing. Don't give it up, because this is kind of fun.
Banouche.
Yeah, Vanusha, all the best to you.
Yeah. I do want to tell people listening that this is an unusual week because I've been in France for 2 weeks. So today we did an unusual Thursday show, and then Sunday morning at 9, a strange time for the show, 9 to 11, I'm interviewing Cho Yoonseung. Do you remember him?
Oh
Dori?
yeah,
Yeah,
the Korean guy.
great pianist,
great
kind of like a
pianist.
Chick Corea
Yeah.
kind of guy. He's in Korea, so I've been wanting to interview him for so long, and he finally.
South Korea, right?
So-
Just making sure.
yes, he is in South Korea. And for those of you who have heard my album Bohemian, that's him on piano. That's a duo record, and that's him. He's a really great pianist and a really charming guy. And we'll see how good his English is on Sunday. I'm just tickling him because his English is fine, but he always says, "Oh God, my English." So, and other than that, Sunday afternoon, go see the Urban Press, and November 30th, go to Feinstein to see the CD release party. It's been a real pleasure, and I look forward to seeing your one-page website soon.
I'll get Mar on that right away.
Okay.
You don't want me touching it. But thank you again for the opportunity. I really appreciate it. I look forward to meeting you in person at the show.
Yeah,
You have your ticket yet?
I do actually.
You do?
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Okay.
I do. And if you're interested, if you're like, you guys are like out and about, I have a jam session on Saturday night at a place called the Conference Room in Playa Vista. Dori knows where it is.
Oh, we have somewhere else. Mar has a private gig.
Oh, okay.
And
Craig has his show at the Gardenia.
Oh.
And if I didn't show up at Craig's show, if I haven't said it before, bless Craig Cochran, because he's every reason why I'm sitting here. He helped me with everything. You already know I love.
He's the matchmaker.
He is the matchmaker, and I can't thank Dori enough. But right under Dori is Craig. He has helped me. When I'm crying, I call Craig.
And
then
she cries because of me. She calls Craig.
And
That's
then
how it
those
works.
two duke it out, and I say, I don't care. Just somebody tell me what to do. So I love Craig Cochran. He's my boyfriend.
I do too. So I don't blame you one bit.
Yeah.
Thank you, Craig.
He's a great person. Okay, you guys, have a great day
Thank you.
Thank you. You as well.
and a good weekend. When are you leaving? You're not leaving for a little while.
I told you she's not leaving. That's a problem.
Well, Mar wants to move to LA, which would be great for her career. Although New York, she has a lot of gigs.
Yeah.
Maybe she'll go back and forth, and I'm going to drive back with her on the 3rd. Her mom's coming in from Barcelona for the show too.
Cool.
That's pretty
Wow.
exciting. Yeah. So, and her mom is amazing too. She's amazing in theater. Her dad's amazing in music, and her brother's amazing rapper in Spain. So they're all very talented.
Wow.
But she'll be coming in, and then we'll drive back to the Bay Area on the 3rd, and Mar will do some recording up there.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll
Thank you
see
for having us,
soon.
Cathy.
Absolutely. It was a pleasure.
Of course.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Okay, you got
Take care.